Episode 14 of Higurashi 2020 has dropped, so let's discuss. I was wrong. Ooishi apparently did actually go on a rampage and wielding a bloody bat no less, presumably the same one from the Keiichi and Teppei scene, which raises more questions about what went down there. This scene was really well directed, along with this whole episode in general. Lots of cool artsy shots to convey the feeling of the scene, which I feel like really fits Higurashi. Interestingly, we do not see Satoko die. She appears and kind of just leaves, like she sulks off or something. Weird. Finally, after 13 episodes, we get another scene in the Myriad Worlds, and it's emotional as well as eye-opening. I'm not going to lie, I was never that attached to Hanyu as a character as much as some other people were, as she was introduced late into the story originally, and soured my taste with one of my least favorite twists in this series, being that she exists and is responsible for certain phenomena, and therefore it was literally impossible to guess because who would think of Rika having a magical ghost friend? Saltiness aside, the scene really does do a great job at conveying the loneliness Rika feels at being left behind, and have to forget her words of encouragement and hone in on the method for a way out of this madness. Oh, let's talk about that. The sword that can kill a looper. Based on Hanyu's words, I believe the intention was not that Rika would use it to kill herself, though she leaves it as an option, but that there is another looper or similar entity in this time loop whose identity is key to solving the mystery. Okay, fuck you, I called it in episode 2 and I will continue to call it. Satoko is a looper and this was a conclusion I reached on my own, thank you very much. I have no reason to mention this other than my own ego and to ensure you that I'm not just repeating stuff I heard. Wait, wasn't I talking about something? Nah, I'm sure it isn't important. There is a new development in the reboot sequel problem that actually shifts my opinion a little bit. Here we get a scene where Rika outright spoils the twists of the original first 2 chapters. It's a blink and you miss it sort of moment, and it doesn't draw outright connections like that, but still a little disappointing. Ultimately, I still believe this series to be newcomer friendly and that it can be enjoyed by newcomers, and I believe When They Cry is enjoyable regardless of your entry point or level of information at any given point, though this means I have to stress the spoiler problem a little bit more. If you're wary of spoilers for the original, you may want to avoid the 2020 version as it's hard to tell what the future holds in that regard. If there's one counterpoint within the episode, it is that they still dance around anything relating to the core mystery of the original and answers to series-wide questions. The amount of times it has been avoided at this point assures me that they are pretty much not going to spoil that much for you guys, providing an incentive to go back and see who it was that killed Furude Rika originally. The final thing I want to touch on is this line where Rika states she will give it 5 more loops. What this appears to confirm is that Nekodamashi is not the first answer arc as some suspected, but instead a question arc, presumably the last one. Traditionally, there are 4 question arcs and 4 answer arcs, and Rika's line here seems to indicate that it is no different for Higurashi 2020. What this means for the series is that the likelihood is very high of a second season or at least a 3rd core. I'm really glad this is the case because it allows the show to be properly fleshed out as its own standalone experience. Oh, and if you don't know the meaning of these words I'm saying, question arcs and answer arcs, don't worry about it too much. The gist of it is that the question arcs will leave you thinking, like, what was it that I even just watched? As I'm sure these first few arcs have for you guys, newcomers specifically. But the answer arcs provide answers to the questions as well as stand as their own story. Well, that'll be it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. I go by Tasty Nachos, and you go by.